Hello students, now we discuss the second test under LST, that is large sample test, that is test for two population means. What is test for equality of two population means? Now here what happens, two populations will be there. Okay, big circles. A generalized information will be given regarding the means. Whether those two population means are equal or not, how we are going to test? We take a sample from the first population and we take one more sample from the second population and we are comparing these two informations. For example, let us suppose that from what you called state 1, let us take UP. From UP, there are more what you called civil services candidates are there. More civil services candidates are there. Same way, let us suppose one more state like what you called Bihar. In Bihar also, let us suppose that more civil services candidates are there. Civil services, the topmost jobs in India. Now, for research purpose, we need to compare on an average the civil services candidates which produced by UP state, Uttar Pradesh, is equal to on an average what we called the civil services candidates produced by what we call the Bihar state. So regarding that, what you are taking, we are taking the information from few districts of UP. Same way, we are considering the few districts of Bihar and their average values we are comparing. With these sample averages, we are generalizing the information about these two populations. Whether both the population, both UP and as well as the Bihar, producing equal number of civil services candidates or not. Understand? Hence, this test is known as the equality of two population means check. In the first test, what we do? We actually, to understand about the large circle, we actually considered the information about the small circle of that large circle. So, large circle is here the population. The small circle, what you are calling this one as the sample. Okay. These two we are comparing. But here, we are comparing two populations with that of the two sample informations. Then what is the test statistic or the test procedure? Okay. As usual, the first thing, what you need to write the null hypothesis. What is the null hypothesis? H naught. The first population mean, let us suppose that mean is mu. First population means mu1 is equal to the second population mean. How to write the mean of the population mu? The second population means mu2. Whether these two equal or not, we need to test. That is, the two population means are equal. That is going to be the verbal statement. So how to write? The two population means are equal. Or else, there is no significance difference. When you say there is no significance difference when both are equal, 1 minus 1 is equal to 0, 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. When do you get both are equal? So, the verbal statement here, you can add one more way also, what you called, there is no significance difference. There is no significance difference between the two populations as far as their means are concerned. Both are null hypothesis only. Don't assume that here No negation word came, hence it becomes the alternate hypothesis. Logically you think. Always remember that the verbal statement should match with that of the notation statement. That is the very best technique, whether your verbal statement is correct or not. If verbal statement is matching with that of the notation statement, yes, that is correct statement. That's why you have to be very, very careful. So after framing the null hypothesis, the next one is, what is that very, very important thing? Alternative hypothesis. How do you write? Okay. H1, mu1 is not equal to mu2 directly. Because in the theory, we consider only not equal to. But while doing the problems, we may consider greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. This time we do a problem of this model. Okay. Less than, greater than type model also we cover. Then what is the meaning of this in terms of words? That is H1. When both are not equal, what is the meaning of that? There is a significance difference. There is a significance difference between two population means. Because mu1, mu2 represents population means. So such a way, what you are writing, null hypothesis, alternate hypothesis. Then here, what is the formula? So here the formula is what you call test statistic. Test statistic. That is Z is equal to, because large samples always follows normal distribution. So here the difference of the populations you are considering in terms of the means. Hence the test statistic numerator becomes difference of the sample information x1 bar minus x2 bar by whole divided by under square root sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2, which follows n01. Again, the standard normal distribution values we consider. What is x1 bar? The first sample mean. What is x2 bar? The second sample mean. What is sigma 1? The first population standard deviation. Sigma 1 square is variance. What is sigma 2? The second population standard deviation. Its square becomes variance. So notations are very, very important. What is n1? The first population sample, that is the first sample size. What is n2? The second sample size. Now this is called the formula. This you need to remember. Okay. What is that? Z is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar by under square root sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2, which follows n01. But here different cases are there. Let us suppose case 1. In the problem sometimes what happens, they says that both the population variances are equal and known. So this variance equal and known. So whenever both are equal, how do you can write? Sigma 1 square becomes sigma 2 square. Both are equal. Both are equal to a given value. Let that given value as sigma square. Then what happens in this substitution here? I am just showing how the formula is going to be converted. x1 bar minus x2 bar whole divided by, so what do you get here? Sigma square by n1 plus sigma square by n2. See, instead of sigma 1 square, sigma square, instead of sigma 2 square, sigma square we substituted. Both are same. Then what happens here? You can take common here. So x1 bar minus x2 bar whole divided by under square root. If you take the common sigma square, now what will there? 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2. 1 by n2. Now again sigma square under root, if you take out, sigma square becomes sigma. Then what is the final form is going to be x1 bar minus x2 bar whole divided by sigma 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2. So this is the final form which follows n01, which follows n01, normal, standard normal distribution. So when you are going to apply this formula, whenever sigma 1 square, sigma 2 square is equal to a sigma square, you can apply this formula. Okay. Same way, one more case is there, case 2. So what is case 2? Here, case 2 would be sigma 1 square is equal to sigma 2 square. That only we know. That means both the populations are having same variance, or both are unknown. That information will not be provided in the problem. Then what happens, whenever unknown is there, corresponding sample information we consider. So sample variance corresponding, I mean to say population variance corresponding sample information is sample variance. So how do you represent that? S square. Sample variance notation is S square. So for this, what is required? You need to apply a special formula to calculate the what to call the sample variance. So what is that? If you want, so that is, if population variances both are equal and unknown, we are getting this population variances by using the sample variances. Then how do you get sigma square is equal to, this is the formula you need to remember, n1 s1 square plus n2 s2 square whole divided by n1 plus n2. This formula will help you whenever both the variances are equal but unknown. So how to get this? So sample size into first sample variance, second sample size into second sample variance by both the sample sizes. This is n1. Now the formula is going to become, what the formula is going to become? As usual. The formula is going to be, which formula? This formula. So by substituting x1 bar minus x2 bar by square root of 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2. So both are case 1, case 2. Besides this, one more case is there. What is that one more case? So what is case 3? Sigma 1 square we don't know. And also sigma 2 square also we don't know. Both the population variances will not be given. But we know one fact. What is that? Both are not equal. Then what is the formula is going to be? Wherever sigma 1 square is there, you substitute it corresponding sample information, S1 square. So wherever sigma 2 square is there, you substitute S2 square. Again I am rewriting this formula. So now what happens? Z is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar whole divided by 100 square root, okay, small s1 square by n1 plus small s2 square by n2, which follows n01. After this, as usual, so what is the decision making? How to take the decision? This is common. We compare this statistic value with that of the table value. If modulus of ZC less than or equal to ZT, so what is the decision? We accept H0. Or if modulus of ZC greater than ZT, what we are going to do? We are going to reject H0. We are going to reject the H0. So what to call this? Decision making. Okay. Now let us see that entire information on a slide. So what is the title? Test for equality of two population means. Or what is the one more way you can call this? Test for the significant difference between two sample means. Both are same. Comparing two populations or comparing two samples. So what is that? Null hypothesis notation form, null hypothesis verbal form. The means of two populations are equal. What is the alternate hypothesis notation form and verbal form? So what is that? Unequal. So not equal, unequal, both are same. What is the formula? Test statistic. Z is equal to x1 bar minus x2 bar by under square root of sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square root by n2, which follows n01. Now what is the case 1? If sigma 1 square is equal to sigma 2 square is equal to sigma square is equal to known, you need to apply this formula. How do you get this formula? Previously I showed. Case 2. All are equal but unknown. So whenever population information is unknown, we take the help of the sample information. So we are estimating the population variance by using sample variance information. Now the formula becomes this. Case 3. So what is the case 3? Unknown, and also sigma 1 square, sigma 2 square unknown, but not equal also. Then directly what you are applying? S1 square by n1 plus S2 square by n2 you are applying. So what is the decision? If modulus of ZC greater than Z alpha by 2, we accept H0. Otherwise we reject H0. So directly in the single statement I finish. Okay. Here the simple technique is you need not to remember all these cases. Directly whatever information is given, you substitute in this formula. That is enough, you will get the answer. Okay. Just for information purpose I gave here. But if you remember this formula and substitute all the information, you get the answer. And also here for this test, how to write the fiducial limits. Okay. Fiducial limits or confidence limits. What's the formula? Always remember that in the formula, whatever sample information is available, all that, only sample. So what is the sample? Entire numerator itself sample. That's why what you get here, x1 bar minus x2 bar plus or minus table value, okay, Z alpha by 2 into standard error. This is the formula, general formula. But remember that in any formula of this test, the denominator term is considered as the standard error. What is that? This denominator term is considered as the standard error. Okay. So what is the denominator term for the first form? So that it becomes x1 bar minus x2 bar plus or minus Z alpha by 2. If you take the first form, so what you get? Under square root sigma 1 square by n1 plus sigma 2 square by n2. That's all. One time you add, one time you subtract. Subtracted value becomes most of the times lower limit, and the added value becomes most of the time the higher limit. So these are the fiducial limits or the confidence limits. So what is the technique? Sample information of the numerator. Always remember, sample information of the numerator in the given formula plus or minus table value into standard error. What is the standard error? Denominator value of the formula. Okay. So this is the test procedure. Now you go for example. Now look at this example. The average absence of a sample of 50 male employees working in a company is 63 hours in a year. The average absence of sample of 50 female employees working in that company is 66 hours in that year. Assuming that the population standard deviations of the population are equal to 10, test whether there is any significant difference between male and female employees as far as absence to duty is concerned. Very, very important. This is a very good example, strictly speaking, example for a HR department, human resource department. It's a beautiful example. Now here, actually one research is going on. Based on the research, they actually wanted to prove whether the male employees are sincere or the female employees are more sincere or both are equal. Understand? So regarding that, what they gave here, okay, some information is given to you. Now first thing is, whenever the tests of significance problems or the tests of hypothesis problems when you are attempting, first you need to identify whether the problem is of large sample or in the small sample. Now if you see here, what is the sample size? Okay, 50 male employees. Again here the sample size 50 female, both are equal. Okay, 50 means here more than 30. Yes, this is a large sample. And also male female. So what is the comparison here? We are comparing what you called two things. One is male and one more is called the female. So this is, let us suppose that the male and this one is the female. So here earlier we actually discussing that the population means about the cities, but here the population is having different character altogether. One population is male population, one more population is female population. Now what are the information provided? From the male, what you call the sample, that is N1. So what is N1 information? That is 50. Okay. So average absence of sample of 50 male employees working in a company 63 hours. So what is the X1 bar? That is male employees average 63 hours. So like that, if you write all the information on rough side, very, very easy when you go for substituting and locating the formula, whatever may be. Now let us come to the female. So what is the average absence of female employees? Before that, what is the sample size of female employees? That is N2, second sample. So then what is that? 50. Now what is the mean absence? That becomes what you call X2 bar. So how much? What is that? 66 hours. See all the information I am providing now. Okay. Then is there any information about the populations? Assuming that the population standard deviations of the population are equal. So let us suppose that this population standard deviation is sigma 1 square. What is that standard deviation means? Sigma 1. For this population, what is that? Sigma 2. So what is given here? So both are equal. Sigma 1 is equal to sigma 2. That too, what is the given value? Given value is nothing but the 10. Okay. So that means here both are equal and known. Now, after getting all the information whatever has been provided, now what you need to do? The first thing is go for the null hypothesis. Very, very important. So what is the null hypothesis? How do we denote H naught? Now how to write the null hypothesis? See the question sentence. What is that? Test whether there is any significant difference between male and female employees as far as absence to duty is concerned. Okay. Now what I tell you, remember that null hypothesis is always fixed. What is that notation form? So here what you can write, mu1 is equal to mu2. What is the meaning of that? The male employees average absence is equal to the female employees average absence. So that you can write in terms of what you call notations. How it can be regarded, that it can be assumed that the absence of what you call male employees average is equal to the absence of the female employees. Then the next thing, very, very important, what is that alternative hypothesis? So for that what is required? H1, mu1, mu2. Be careful. While writing the alternative hypothesis, you have to be very, very careful. Because the alternative hypothesis only lets you know whether this is a two-tailed test or one-tailed test. What is the technique? Again, go back and carefully read the question sentence or any other what called clue words. Any comparative words are there like less than, more than, high, low? No. Then what is the meaning of that? H1, okay. Mu1 is not equal to mu2. That's it. So such a way you need to write the null and alternate hypothesis. If the notation form is correct, if you are able to produce the correct notational form, sentence formation is so easy because the sentence should match with the notation. Then how do you match the sentence here? The average absence of the male employees is not equal to the average absence of the female employees. That's all. That's why what I tell you, always what you called careful about the notations. That too, one more clue here. For any test, the null hypothesis never changes. Blindfoldedly, you can use is equal to, whether that is a single population or double population or what you called more than two populations. Only change you can see in the alternative hypothesis. That means in entire testing of hypothesis, the alternative hypothesis is so important. Okay. Then what you are going to do here? You are going to apply the formula. What is that? Z is equal to, okay, x1 bar minus x2 bar by, because both are equal, then what is the formula you can use? Square root of 1 by n1 plus 1 by n2, which follows n01. You simplify that. Okay. So this is what the explanation. Now see the problem, how I solve this. So null hypothesis, mu1 is equal to mu2. There is no significant difference between the sample and female employees, male and female employees as far as absence to duty is concerned. Okay. In terms of average, that is important. In terms of average is concerned. Don't assume that no word we have used here that becomes a alternative hypothesis. What is the best technique? Match the sentence with that of the notations. Now matching or not, no significant difference means what is that? Both are equal. If you want, you can write the null hypothesis in one more way also. What is that? Both the male employees average absence is equal to the female employees' average absence as far as their duties are concerned. Like that also you can write. The best thing is carefully see the question statement, that only you reproduce most of the time. That is going to be very apt, very suitable. Don't use your entire English communication knowledge, because we the mathematicians required that crispiness, straightforwardness, isn't it? That's why most of the times through this question sentence, try to create the verbal statement for null hypothesis and as well as the alternative hypothesis. Now, what is the alternative hypothesis? There are no comparative words. What are comparative words? Less than, more than, low, high, big, small. These are all comparative words. There are no comparative words at all. That's why simply what I am putting here, not equal to. So then how do you match? Whenever not equal to means there is a difference. So what is that? There is a significant difference between the male and female employees as far as absence to duty is concerned, as far as average working hours are concerned. Okay. Now, this is the given information from the problem. Now, substituted in the what to call the formula. So what is this formula? This is case 1 formula. Actually, what I told you, need not remember cases. Directly also, if you want, you can what to call substitute here. Like what you can substitute here. So 63 minus 66 by, so what is that first? Sigma 1 square. So what you get here? Square root of 10 square by, okay, 10. So what is the sample size? So what is the sample size? N1 63, N2 66. Corrected. Okay. Now we put here what is that? 63 here plus 10 square by, okay, 66. Like that also you can do, understand? But it's up to you. So this is the formula, substituted and simplified. What you get? Minus 1.5. Okay. So modulus subjects, because negative values will not be considered, 1.5. And also here there is no alpha value is given. So whenever there is no alpha value is given, we presume the standard value as 5%. So in the previous problem also we consider the 5% LOA stable value. Is this a two-tailed test or one-tailed test? Because we are not equal to is there, hence this becomes the two-tailed test. That is two-tailed table value of 5% LOAs of N01 is 1.96. Always calculated value in the left hand side, table value in the right hand side. This is less, careful. That means, what is that? We accept H0. See the meaning. What is the conclusion? There is no significant difference between the male and female employees as far as the absence to duty is concerned. What is the meaning of that? On an average, there is no comparison. Both male and female employees are what are called absenting to duties equally, almost equal. Understand? We cannot rate that only male are sincere employees or else only female are sincere employees. Both are equal. Whenever they want, they go on leave. Okay? So such is the way we can apply these tests of significance problems for real-time problems. That's why these techniques are very important. What are the conference limits? The technique substituted, but the negative values will not be considered. Hence, by considering this as the positive, so what you can write? 3.394, comma 9.394. Okay. So this is called test for equality of two population means problem. Now we go for one more very important model under this test for comparison of two population means. One more model under test for two population means, very important model. The average height of a sample of 6,400 English men is 170 centimeters with a standard deviation of 6.4 centimeters. The average height of 1,600 Australians is 172 centimeters with a standard deviation of 6.3 centimeters. Can the Australians be regarded as taller than Englishmen? Here, what are the populations? Australians, Englishmen. So, two populations compared. Hence, which falls under test for comparison of two population means. That too, the comparative word is there. Very careful. That's why this problem is very important. Whenever the comparative word is there, what changes? The alternative hypothesis is going to change. Let us see. Okay. Now, according to the given information, the first thing what is provided? Englishman information. So, let all the information of Englishman becomes mu1, x1 bar, n1, sigma 1, s1 like this. The next population is going to be, what is that? Australians. So, then what is the Australian information becomes mu2. Australian information becomes mu2, s2, x2, x bar 2, n2 like this. Understand? Now see the problem carefully how I did. Now let mu1, mu2 denote respectively the average heights of Englishmen and Australians. So before itself I declared what are the notations are going to denote. Null hypothesis is very important. There is no change in the null hypothesis. As per theory, directly whatever is there in the theory, that only you write down. Mu1 is equal to mu2. What is mu1? Englishman height. Mu2, Australian's height. What is the meaning of that? Both are equal. That is, the Englishman height average is equal to the Australian's height average, or else there is no significance difference between the average heights of Englishmen and Australians. That also, in that way also you can write. Okay. Now the alternative hypothesis is very important. So what is the meaning of that? H1, mu1 represents Englishmen, mu2 represents Australians. Okay. So what you can write here? Alternative hypothesis. So what is the question sentence? Can the Australians can be regarded as taller than Englishmen? So Australian is going to be more in height. That means we can compare these two by means of what you called less than symbol, or else if you want you can write like this also. What is that? H1. So one more form I am writing, careful. If I want to write mu2 as my first sign, now mu1 as my second information, then how we can write here? Australians are taller than. That means Australian information is more. How do you compare here? Greater than. See, both are equal. Don't confuse. Why I gave this notation means, first mu1 comes, mu2 comes. Like that I am comparing. If you want, you can write in this way also. This is also correct alternative hypothesis. I think you understood this logic. Now, what is the verbal? Australians are taller than Englishmen. That's all. Everything is as usual. Now here, the sample informations are provided. Hence, the formula is going to be what? The formula is going to be case 3 formula. So, S1 square by N1 plus S2 square by N2. Okay. So minus 11.32 got Z value. Again negative. Hence positive value only considered. But here, just for change, I considered 1% LOS. 1% means 100 minus 1, nothing but 99% confidence. What is the 1% LOS value according to the tables? The 1% LOS value according to the tables. So 1% LOS value, that to what test this one? One-tailed test, because less than, greater than symbols are there. So what is that value? 2.33 we are considering. So 2.33. Always calculated value in the left hand side, table value in the right hand side. So what is the symbol we come to know? This is more, hence greater than. We reject H0. What is the meaning of that? So when we are rejecting H0 means we accept H1. That means it is true that Australians in general, on an average, Australians will be having more height with that of the Englishman. Okay? That is, the average height of Australian is more than the Englishman. Or what is the one more conclusion? The Australians are taller than the Englishmen. So if you want, you can calculate the fiducial limits also. Okay? So this model is very, very important. So what is the importance of this problem? The alternative hypothesis. So here, what is the clue word? Taller than, comparative word. So because of this less than symbol, or if you write this way, greater than symbol, this test has become one-tailed test. That's why what is the sentence I wrote here? One-tailed table value of N01 at 1% LOS is 2.33. So I made the decision. Okay. So this is the completion of the second test under the large sample test. Test for comparison of two population means. Okay. Thank you.